President Trump has called for new leadership in the Republican Party. Okay. Sean Hannity has called for new leadership in the Republican Party. Now, this is obviously a shot at Mitch McConnell. Okay. It's a shot at Mitch McConnell. They're calling for his head. Okay. They want him to be replaced. That is the Trump wing of the party. They're trying to get rid of McConnell. Trump wants to basically take McConnell's place as the king maker. And Trump is, at the very least, it seems like he's trying to do that. He's trying to put together some type of coalition to make that happen, right? And after we listen to President Trump, we're going to listen to Mitch McConnell, right? Talk about how he hasn't spoke with Biden, right? And there's a lot of things that he's going to say, but his actions are not matching the things that he actually says. And this is why I think that Trump and the Tucker Carlsons of the world are right. They're right about Mitch McConnell. I think there is a strong sense in the Republican Party that they need new leadership because Mitch McConnell, he's kind of stuck in his ways. He's one of those guys that's just not going to change. He's going to do him. He's going to just obstruct and literally just make everything stay the same no matter what. And basically make the party get left behind. Okay. So let's listen to Trump talk about the Senate leadership real quick before we get into this.
I think we have a chance of taking back the House. I think we have a chance to do better in the Senate. We need leadership in the Senate, which frankly we don't have. We need better leadership in the Senate. You have a good chance to take back the Senate. And frankly...
Yeah. So Trump said it, right? I 100% agree with him, right? We do need new leadership in the Senate. And when I see interviews like this from Mitch McConnell, it really is a prime example of what is currently wrong with our politics right now on both parties, really, to be quite honest with you. But the Republicans led by Mitch McConnell are just being overtly trying not to even work with the Democrats on anything, which basically means that the Democrats are going to get free reign to do whatever they want, and whatever they don't do, they can just blame on the Republicans. I don't think this is a good strategy for winning 2022 because the jig is up. Too many people are paying attention to politics for McConnell to continue to play this semantics game in which he tries to act like he's actually trying to work with Joe Biden when he's really not. I understand that, Joe Biden is doing some things that a lot of people don't agree with, but that's the whole point of why the Republicans should be trying their best to talk to Biden, right? To come to some type of compromise and solution, okay? So that you can talk him out of those things. But our Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, has indicated that he has not even spoken with Joe Biden. So let's listen to Mitch McConnell talk about his relationship with Joe Biden.
I'm going to try my luck here with regard to the answer you just gave on that, on the filibuster. Do you know or have you spoken with Senators Manchin or Sinema about where they stand today on that?
Well, on the issue of the filibuster, which is the essence of the Senate, the fact that you can't pass most legislation with a simple majority in the Senate, you have to have some kind of bipartisan buy-in or the bill doesn't pass. Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema have been rock solid that they are opposed to getting rid of the legislative filibuster. That's the essence of the Senate. We could have done that when my party was in the majority. President Trump actually asked us to. I said, no, we were not interested in changing the fundamental nature of the United States Senate.
And you know why he didn't want to do it under Trump? Because Trump asked him to remove the filibuster. You know why Trump asked him to remove the filibuster? Because Trump probably had ideas that he wanted to move on and legislation that he wanted to pass. For example, Republicans always talk about repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump wanted to implement some type of healthcare plan, right? I can imagine that he wanted something, right? Do you think Mitch McConnell wanted that? Probably not. Again, I've showed you guys time and time again, Trump wanted something on infrastructure. You think Mitch McConnell wanted that? Probably not. That's why he blocked it. Okay? Mitch McConnell, right, is essentially taking pride in the fact that he stands in the way of anything, even from his own president, even from a Republican president, from getting passed. And guys, I'm not even against the filibuster. I just feel like it should be more painful, but I'm not against it, right? It definitely shouldn't be something you can just use and not have to pay a price for. But, you know, this guy, Mitch McConnell, right? He's trying to act like Trump is the bad guy in the party and that people don't agree with Trump on his ideas when it really is the other way around.
Which is designed on purpose to kill bad ideas or to reach a compromise so that you can reach that supermajority threshold. It keeps America in the political center.
Sir, I'll give it a shot to see if you can hear me now. Elizabeth Warren has said that the filibuster is based on racism. Is it?
No, the filibuster predates the debates over civil rights. It goes back to the beginning of the country. The filibuster started debates that have occurred off and on of the country. So the derivation of the filibuster was not related to race or civil rights.
Inauguration Day, you were in the audience on the West Capitol when President Biden was sworn in. He talked about unity and bipartisanship. On the 1st of February, 10 Republican senators went to the Oval Office to cut a deal. Nothing came of that. When will you be at the White House? When have you been invited to meet President Biden?
I haven't been invited to the White House. So far, this administration is not interested in doing anything on a bipartisan basis in the political center. They'd be more than happy to pick off a few of our members and do what they would like to do. But there's been no effort whatsoever by the president or the administration to do anything in the political center.
Let me try again here.
It's been trying to jam through everything on the hard left. You saw that on the $1.9 trillion COVID package, only 1% of which had to do with vaccines and only 9% of which had to do with health care. The rest of it was a left-wing wish list. They're now cooking up yet another package they're going to call infrastructure, but it's going to be a Trojan horse that includes massive tax increases on Americans. They're going hard left. They misread the election. It's a 50-50 Senate and a very narrow Democratic majority in the House, not a mandate to turn America into Bernie Sanders' view of what America ought to be.
When was the last time you had a conversation with President Biden, even on the phone?
I don't believe I've spoken with him since he was sworn in. We had a couple of conversations before then.
So, all right, guys. So listen to him talk. He's talking about how he wants everything to stay in the political center, which I don't necessarily disagree with, right? Because I do believe that, you know, the best policy has buy-in from both parties, right? I do believe that. But he also says he hasn't spoke to Biden. The follow-up question should have been, have you tried to speak with him? Have you called him? Because the fact that 10 Republican legislators went to the White House to at least try to negotiate with Biden on the stimulus, in which Biden basically said they're not doing enough for him. But fair, right? You know, they tried. And I've given Biden his fair share of criticism for that. I've given the Democrats their fair share of criticism for basically not really trying to work with the Republicans enough, not compromising enough. You know, I think the Republicans came with a package that was like $600 billion, right? Obviously, the Democrats had $1.9 trillion. I think they could have met somewhere in the middle. They could have met somewhere at $1.2 trillion, 1.3, 1.4, and I think they would have been compromised. At that point, well, that's $500 billion, $600 billion, $700 billion that you didn't have to spend. So, I mean, I'm giving both parties criticism here for not being willing to work with each other. Okay? I'm not trying to be one-sided with this. But I think McConnell really is being disingenuous in this interview, right? But at the same time, you're the leader of the party. You're the leader of the Senate. Why have you not tried to speak to Biden? And this is the same guy that's supposed to be so buddy-buddy with Biden. He's supposed to be so buddy-buddy with Biden. Why have you not tried to speak with him? Because for as much as you can sit here and complain all day about what the Democrats do, again, there's plenty of problems with it. It is your responsibility, if you know that they're going to pass something without you, is you know that they can just push through what they want, they don't need you, why don't you at least try to get some type of compromise, even if it's a little bit, if it makes it better. Because guys, on some issues, like I did a video this weekend about the stimulus checks, the Republicans are right on that. The Republicans are right in the sense that it should be more targeted, right? Because the people that are making more money that are getting stimulus checks aren't spending it, which means that it's not stimulating the economy, which means that it's really a waste of money. Okay? So the Republicans are right on that. Joe Manchin agrees with you on that. If Mitch McConnell, who claims to be so concerned about bipartisanship, if he really believed in being bipartisan, why did you not try to, I don't know, work with Joe Manchin to say, hey, listen, we want to vote on this bill. We want some input on it. Hey, can you, come along with us to try to get more input on this bill, right? To try to make this bill more targeted, to try to spend less money, to try to get some bipartisan compromise here. Because otherwise, when you don't do that, the Democrats are just going to pass whatever they want. And they're going to take 100% credit for it. And then they can turn around and say, see, 0 GOP senators voted for the stimulus checks. Right? None of them voted for it. Right? That's literally what they do. The GOP is worried about, all this other stuff. But they're voting no to stimulus checks. And I get it, guys. I mean, some people don't agree with stimulus checks. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's about winning elections, right? It's about staying in office. It's about public perception. It matters. And Mitch McConnell has, at this point, drugged the party to the point where the perception of the party is that the Republicans just don't want to do anything at all. They just refuse to participate in legislation and democracy. And guys, I'm being critical of McConnell because Trump is right. They do need more leadership. Trump brought new ideas to this party. Ideas that I think would have been executed if it wasn't for McConnell. And again, the proof is in the pudding, guys. Listen to the man talk. Listen to the man talk. He'll tell you straight up. Yeah, I blocked Trump from doing this, this, and this. McConnell thinks that he was running the show under Trump. He really does. And again, guys, this is so frustrating because it's like, I hear what you're saying. You're trying to say Joe Biden doesn't want to be bipartisan. He's too far left. But also in this same speech, you're also saying, well, I haven't talked to him. You're the Senate minority leader. You can't call him. You can't make him listen. Joe, let's work together on this. Let's really sit down and see if we can come to a compromise on this because the Democrats got the leverage, bruh. They got the leverage. Reconciliation. And this is the same thing that's going to happen with the infrastructure bill. The Democrats are going to pass it. It's going to be long-lasting legislation that's going to be popular legislation. And the Republicans are going to sit here and not compromise on and not participate, knowing that the Democrats can just pass what they want because of reconciliation. And then they're going to turn around. The Democrats will say, listen, you see, GOP not working with us on this. They're going to take full credit for the infrastructure plan. Instead of saying, you know what, we work with, the Biden administration, we were bipartisan to be able to get stimulus to those who really need stimulus and to upgrade America's infrastructure. Exactly what Trump wanted to do. Exactly the same things that Trump called for, but McConnell didn't want to do it. Again, this is why the calls for new leadership, the Republican Senate, they're right. This is not leadership. The Democrats criticized Trump for talking to Kim Jong-un. And it's like, how can you beat your enemy if you don't know your enemy? If you're not willing to talk to Biden, regardless of whether or not you agree with him, regardless of whether or not he's too far left, in which, who knows, right? Biden traditionally has been a very conservative Democrat. They didn't pass the minimum wage law, right? They did try to target the stimulus checks a little bit more. They cut that down. And I can imagine that a lot of stuff in this infrastructure package is probably going to be watered down too. So you have an opportunity to work with the man. You might not get everything you want, which is to do nothing, but maybe you prevent it from being as bloated as it should be. That's your job if you really feel that concern. Otherwise, if you do nothing, they're just going to do what they want. And then you're not going to get any credit, and then everybody's going to be looking at you like, oh, Republicans didn't do anything. And like I said, who knows? Can they win in 2022 with this strategy? I don't know. Because I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. Yeah, the immigration crisis is happening right now, and it's bad for the Biden administration. But nobody's paying attention to politics. Viewership has went down across the board when it comes to politics, period. So nobody really cares about it. The only people that really care about the border right now are Republicans. They're the only people that care. Everybody else has tuned out because Trump is out of office. They don't even care. So, talking about the border, even though, again, that's a legitimate Republican talking point, it might not work. And again, even with that, instead of marketing the Republican plan, they're just attacking Biden instead of saying, no, this is the plan that we have. Our plan is better than the Biden plan because of X, Y, and Z. We want to secure the border, and we want to collect our taxes from the immigrants that are here. That should be the Republican talking point on the border. But instead, the talking point is, oh my God, Biden's ruined everything, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. We all agree with that. What is your plan? How are you going to work with the Democrats to fix it? Republicans should be going out there saying, we want to secure the border. We want to collect taxes from the immigrants that are here. And we want to prevent this from happening in the future. That should be what Republicans are saying. Democrats are not willing to work with us on that. We're ready to negotiate. Instead, it's, oh, Biden's so bad. And again, I agree with you. But what are you going to do? What is your plan? That's what the American people need to start hearing. That's how you're going to win. Because continuing to run on this, well, all we do is block legislation and, we don't have any ideas. We don't do anything. You just let the Democrats get away with their bad ideas. You're just as culpable as they are because you let them get away with it. You don't try to make their ideas better. That's what you should be trying to do. You should try to make the legislation better. This is the game that they play, and they think they can continue to get away with this, and I just don't think they will.
Well, that makes it hard to do bipartisanship, which is what he said he wanted to do. The Republicans pretty much got rolled on the $1.9 trillion, and now the infrastructure bill comes.
Exactly. They got rolled. They got rolled because they refuse, or at least because McConnell refuses to talk to Biden. You got rolled on it. That's what happens.
They say between $2 to $3 trillion. Do you anticipate that the Republicans will be able to push back at all? And how might you do that given the situation that we're in?
Dana, I had a hard time hearing your question. Would you repeat it?
Bill,
Have you been rolled by Democrats on these trillion-dollar bills, sir?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, you addressed it a few moments ago about the next big trillion-dollar option here, which would be on infrastructure. There is a suggestion that Democrats will go smaller on the next bill to try and get one or two Republicans to vote with them and then come over the top when it comes to taxes, et cetera. What do you expect to be the next bill in this Democratic-led Senate?
Well, what I expect to happen if the filibuster is not destroyed is that we'll look for areas we can agree on, like we did last year when it was a Republican majority, and try to pass things that make sense for both sides in the political center. As I said before, there is no mandate you can draw out of the November 3rd election for going hard left, and yet that's what they insist on trying to do so far.
Senator, thank you for being patient. We're waiting for H.R. 1 in the Senate in a matter of moments here.
All right, guys. So, yeah, that's Mitch McConnell on that. He says that for the infrastructure bill, the Republicans are going to try to, participate to make sure it's in the center, right? And I hope McConnell is right about that, right? I hope that McConnell's right about that because I don't want to see a infrastructure bill where the Democrats just work on it by themselves and they don't get any input from the Republicans. It's okay if the Democrats pass a bill, if it's good for America and they need an infrastructure upgrade, which Trump tried to do, then it's just good for America. Now, I get it. People complain about the debt. That's a legitimate argument, obviously. But that's why the Republicans are there. The Republicans are there to try to make sure that the Democrat spending doesn't get even more out of control than it is right now, if they really care about that, right? Because otherwise, they're going to just move without you. And you're not going to get any credit and you ain't get all the blame. And again, I really do feel like as society moves forward, social media, news, you're not just going to be able to get away with just going up there and saying, oh, well, we're trying to work with the Democrats, but I haven't called Biden. I haven't talked to Biden. I haven't tried to talk to Biden. Bro, you the Senate minority leader. Do you think we stupid? No, we not stupid. We know what's up. So, like I said, guys, we'll see, man. How McConnell handles the next 2 years, I think, is going to be very key in terms of what happens in 2022. And, again, we're going to see if Trump is right. Right? I think he is right. I think that we do need some new leadership in the Senate, because this whole, let's not do anything at all, it's not going to keep working. It's not going to keep working. The Republican Party is going to get left behind if they keep doing this. That's the truth. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.